According to the charity Shelter, there are almost 300,000 long-term empty properties in England. Despite this, families in St Michael's Gate, Peterborough, are facing eviction so that their homes can be used as temporary accommodation to house the homeless. This happened after private landlord Stephen Phillips made Peterborough City Council a financial offer they say they couldn't refuse.
We refuse to let our homes and communities be traded like pieces on a monopoly board, because that is what is happening here. There are going to be more St Michael Gates. This government is going to make the housing crisis worse, because they're introducing legislation. It's called the Housing and Planning Act, which is going to make it even easier for companies like the ones that are trying to take people's homes at St Michael's Gate to make even more money out of the housing crisis.
After Stephen Phillips bought the homes, in a move that outraged the people of Peterborough, the City Council signed a deal with the company to evict the tenants and spend nearly £1 million a year to use the properties as temporary accommodation for people on the homeless register. I went to meet with Tony Roberts, a tenant from St Michael's Gate who had lived in his home for 2 years prior to Stephen Phillips taking ownership.
In August we had a letter come through from the new property owners, Stephen Phillips, saying that they'd taken over all the properties on St Michael's Gate. So we was to transfer all our rent payments to them. And then about 2 weeks after that I got a phone call from my wife when I was at work saying that we've had an eviction letter come through. They were going to have 74 families evicted, essentially making them homeless, so that they could then put homeless people from the Travelodge, bed and breakfast and the YMCA hostel into these houses. So it's not really solving a homeless issue, it's just moving people around, making their paperwork look good, making them look as if they're actually doing something to solve the problem, when in actual fact they're not. You know, homeless people do need to be housed. It's just making families homeless to put a homeless person in that house just doesn't make sense on any level.
What a disgrace. What a disgrace this country is at the moment. We've had 30 years of neoliberalism, and where has it left the working class? We've been shit on by the ruling class for the last 30 years.
This is an absolute disgrace. This is the time for action. It's not a housing crisis, it's a housing emergency. And bloody wake up, Peterborough City Council!
In this council meeting, both residents from St Michael's Gate and the people of Peterborough supported Jelena Stevic as she addressed the Conservative Council who made the controversial deal with Stephen Phillips.
Good evening, members. Item 17. Please help to stop St Michael's Gate residents being evicted. Jelena Stevic, you have 5 minutes to introduce your petition.
We from St Michael's Gate and the people of Peterborough feel betrayed by our own council. It's disgusting and totally unacceptable the way we have been treated, not only by you but by Stephen Phillips, your business partners. We have our online petition to ask for changes in the law to stop major companies buying social housing, then evicting tenants to make a huge profit from re-renting them to local councils. We want to ensure that no one else should endure the despair, stress, devastation, upheaval and loss of community that we have. We have asked to be treated like human beings. None of you have come to our street and spoken to the residents of your city. Peterborough City Council, hang your head in shame, all of you, because we are the people that pay your taxes. We are the people that count.
Labour councillor Ed Murphy has been working with and supporting the residents of St Michael's Gate.
In this country, we're currently spending £27 billion a year on rent allowances and housing benefit. More and more of that now is simply going to private landlords when we should be using the state's coffers to invest in housing. But we do have a real fundamental problem. A lot of the councillors on Peterborough City Council happen to be private landlords themselves. And I think that they've got a self-interest there. They want to see an increase in private rents in Peterborough. No wonder they're adding to the problem rather than solving it. Many people in Peterborough are furious, not just the people being made homeless, but ordinary observers. They just can't see why the council are making people homeless to house the homeless and spending £3 million over several years on this company who are really profiteering out of the misery of homelessness. The council should have been investing in new homes and other solutions. It's made a big error, it hasn't apologised, and I'm not sure what it's going to do to put things right.
Peterborough City Council stated that if they do not take up the offer from Stephen Phillips, then another council will. But is this really the attitude that Peterborough residents want from a council who are meant to be working in their best interests? Just imagine if this was the mindset of everyone in the world. I might as well do that wrong thing, because if I don't, someone else will. I went back to St Michael's Gate to talk to Yelena Stevic a few days after she had addressed the City Council.
This is a situation that will happen time and time again unless the law is changed and private landlords aren't allowed to repossess the house or evict tenants purely for profit. It's a business to them. It's purely money. It's not about the tenants. This is something that is going to start happening, and we're going to see more and more of it in this country.
With over 250,000 homeless people in England, there is a desperate need for shelter. While I understand that funding for councils has been severely cut, this surely is not the answer. Why are empty properties even allowed to exist when people are dying on our streets? Addressing homelessness by making people homeless is not how this problem is going to be solved.
We've been shit on by the ruling class.